Hello and welcome to Story Underline. Till now we have covered Portuguese, Dutch and English. आज हम बात करेंगे फ्रेंच की. French colony comprising 5 geographically separated enclaves on Indian subcontinent that had initially been factories. Enclaves were Pondicherry, Karikal, Yanam, that is Andhra Pradesh on the Coromandel coast, Mahe on Malabar coast and Chandarnagar in Bengal. France was the last of the major European maritime powers of 17th century to enter the East India trade. Objective of French were purely commercial. Company peacefully acquired Yanam, Mahe and Karaikal. 1664, Colbert, minister of Louis XIV, laid foundation of French East India Company which granted 50 years monopoly. 1667, Francois Caron headed an expedition to India setting up factory at Surat. 1669, factory at Masulipatam under Markara, who was Persian. 1673, permission from Sesta Khan, who was Mughal Subedar of Bengal, to establish township at Chandarnagar in Calcutta. 1674, Pondicherry was founded under Sher Khan Lodi to Francois Martin, the stronghold and nerve center of French East India. आप फैक्ट्रीज को याद रखने के लिए SMCP याद रखें. SMCP, that is सूरत, मसूलीपट्टनम, चंदरनगौर एंड पौंडीचेरी. बात करते हैं सेटबैक्स की. So outbreak of war between Dutch and French hampered the French growth. 1693, Dutch captured Pondicherry through Treaty of Ryswick. 1697, Pondicherry was restored to French. Next, War of Spanish Succession, which broke out in Europe. Therefore, French had to abandon factories at Surat, Masulipatam, and Bantham in early 18th century. Another setback was death of Martin in 1706. बात करते हैं Anglo-French struggle, which is reflected in the Carnatic Wars, referred to Coromandel Coast and its hinterland. बैकग्राउंड की बात करें, so both came for trade but were later drawn into politics of India, and both had vision of establishing political power over the region. Rivalry in India reflected traditional rivalry in England and France. It began with Austrian War of Succession and ended with conclusion of 7 Years' War. 1740, turmoil political condition in South India, decline of Hyderabad as signal for end of Muslim expansionism. Also, the arrival of famous governor of French, Joseph Duplessis. He began to cherish the ambition of French territorial empire in India. His superiors and the French government didn't want it to provoke the British. His ambition clashed with British interests in India, and a period of military skirmish and political intrigue began. However, Robert Clive, a British officer, arrived in India in 1744 and dashed the hope of Duplessis to create a French empire in India. बात करें the Carnatic Wars की, so first Carnatic War span between 1740 to 1748. It was an extension of Anglo-French War in Europe caused by Austrian War of Succession. Immediate cause was 1746 English Navy under Barnet seized some French ships to provoke French, and French retaliated by seizing Madras. Result was Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle in 1748. Second Carnatic War, which spanned between 1749 to 1754. It was provided by rivalry in India, where French, who wanted to increase power and political influence in South India, interfering in local disputes to defeat English. Immediate cause was death of Nizamul Mulk of Hyderabad in 1748 and release of Chanda Sahib, who was son-in-law of Dost Ali, who was नवाब ऑफ कार्नेटिक. आप याद रखें, फ्रेंच के साइड से डुप्लेसी सपोर्टेड बाय मुजफ्फर जंग एंड चंदा साहिब. याद रखने के लिए आप MCF याद रखें. इंग्लिश के साइड से क्लाइव सपोर्टेड बाय नजीर जंग एंड अनवरुद्दीन. Battle of Ambur 1749, where combined armies of Muzaffar Jung, Chanda Sahib, and French defeated and killed Anwaruddin. Muzaffar Jung became Subedar of Deccan and Duplessis governor of all Mughal territories south of River Krishna. Later on, Robert Clive decided to sudden raid Arcot in 1751, the capital of Carnatic. Later, in 1752, the French were forced to surrender when Muhammad Ali was executed Chanda Sahib. Result was Duplessis was called back due to economic loss incurred. In place of him came Gudehou as French governor, who adopted policy of negotiation with English and concluded a treaty. A major implication was Indian authority itself was becoming dependent on European support. बात करते हैं थर्ड कार्नेटिक वॉर की which span between 1758 to 1763. When Austria wanted to recover Silesia in 1756, 7 years war broke out. Later, Battle of Wandiwash in 1760, where English won at Tamil Nadu. English under Ayar Kute and French under Arthur de Lally. Treaty of Peace of Paris in 1763, under which French was now confined to small enclave and only to commerce. The Battle of Wandiwash left English with no European rival. English now became the supreme European power in India. It became significant that fall of India to European invaders was inevitable, be it French or English. बात करें फ्रेंच वर्सेस ब्रिटिश तो ये शुरू होता है 1754 से और ख़त्म होता है 1871. In 1756, the French encouraged the Nawab Siraj-ud-Daulah to attack and take the British Fort William in Calcutta. This led to Battle of Plassey in 1757, where British decisively defeated the Nawab and his French allies, resulting in extension of British power over the entire province of Bengal. In 1816, after the conclusion of Napoleonic Wars, the five establishments were returned to France. Independence of India in 15 August 1947 gave impetus to Union of France possession with former British India. हमने कवर कर लिया है डच, पोर्चुगीज, इंग्लिश एंड फ्रेंच. कल से नेक्स्ट हम बात करेंगे मुगल डिक्लाइन, एक्सपेंशन एंड कंसोलिडेशन ऑफ ब्रिटिश, बैटल ऑफ बक्सर, बैटल ऑफ प्लासी की. कल मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. ऑल द बेस्ट. थैंक यू.